You asked for it, so here it is. I used to work at Stratton Oakmont, Part 2. I used to work at the brokerage firm made popular by the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. I was there in the early 90s. I worked there for 3.5 years. A lot of people ask questions like, well, prove it, we'll prove it. I posted a video on my YouTube channel showing proof of my broker license and all that stuff about, where I work. But I'm not doing that again. If you want to check it out, go go to my YouTube channel. But just to let you know, like, Stratton Oakmont wasn't that unique at the time that I got there. When they first started out, yes. But by the early 90s, there was a lot of places that did what Stratton Oakmont did. And it wasn't that hard to work there. Like, the way I found the place was literally on the side of a basketball court when I came back from AIT, from the reserves. I just circled a couple broker trainee positions and I called all of them. And in Stratton Oakmont, a broker by the name of George Patsis. George Patsis was the guy that called me back. We were nothing but highly trained telemarketers, man. It wasn't nothing. We didn't know they was going to make a movie about the place. Don't get me wrong, it was unique, but I sold commodities. I sold currencies. I worked for a place that had offices in Thailand, South Costa Rica, and San Jose. I had friends that were wanted by Interpol. Like, Stratton Oakmont, don't get me wrong, it was off the chain, but I got way crazier stuff than that. Like, way crazier. But in any event, people always ask me questions about Stratton, what I do with money, blah, blah, blah. One of the questions that people ask me is, what did I do with my first check? My first check was close to $11,000. And I worked hard for that money. I worked very hard for that money. And I was maybe 19, almost 20. And at the time, I didn't have a car, I didn't have anything. I was riding the bus to work from Freeport to Stratton was in Lake Success. And I cashed the check across the street. There was a bank called, I believe it was EAB. I might be wrong. It's been a long time, but I believe it was EAB. And what happened was when we used to go to the bank, they would pretty much shut down the bank. So it was like a party line when everybody was cashing their checks. So you cash your check. They gave everybody money counters. Some people deposited money. Some people cashed it. I cashed my whole check, and they were popping bottles and high-fiving in the bank. And I cashed my check. I put $5,000 in one pocket, $6,000 in the other pocket, and I got on the bus. Right? The first thing I bought was there was a coming from where I was coming from to get to Freeport. I had to change over buses, and at the corner where I had to wait for the second bus was a cell phone store, and they had like beepers, cell phones. Cell phones were very new and very expensive. I bought this phone. I don't remember if it was close to like $1,000, and I bought a beeper. So that was the first thing that I purchased with the money that I earned. I bought a cell phone. I called it the bat phone. Minutes were like $5 a minute back then, and I bought a beeper. And then I got back on the bus, and I went home with $10,000 in my pants pockets. When I got home, my father was waiting for me to pay my monthly rent, which at the time was $200. I didn't tell anybody in the family that I was going to be making this money, so when he asked me for my $200, I was like, yeah, I got your money. Went in my pocket and pulled out $5,000 out of one pocket and $6,000 out of the other. My father was like, his mind was completely blown. He was like, oh my God. He was like, yo, you ever heard of a bank? And no, I was 19 and I had never really thought about putting my money in a bank. So, yeah, I have a million stories, and I'm going to keep doing this as a series. But my first purchase was a cell phone and a beeper, and I cashed a check for $11,000, and I rode home on the bus with this money in my pocket. Jesus.